interviewing Kelsey, my son Kelsey, the second, and our son Mesha. Yes, I'm going to introduce Kelsey first, and then we'll introduce our other son, Mesha. Kelsey can sit close to me because we're family. Well, Mesha can.
I'm close.
I know, you're close. But Kelsey the second, do you want to share a little bit about yourself, or do you want me to share?
You can share.
I can share. Kelsey the second was born on his dad's birthday. He is now 22 years old, going on 23, and I'm going to introduce his friend. Kelsey went to college. He's finished his degree at Pacific University, and at a young age, or relatively young age, he became friends with Mesha. And Mesha, if we can look at Mesha, is my other son, and I do treat him like a son, and Bishop treats him like a son. And so, Mesha, how old are you?
I am 20. I just turned 23.
20?
Yeah, 20.
Birthday.
Thank you. Yeah.
Happy birthday to our, used to be our teenage son.
I used to be 12.
Yes.
When I first met you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been that. It's almost been 10 years.
Amen.
Since being part of the church. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Mesha talk about how you came to our church and how you became friends with Kelsey. So now, if you didn't figure it out, Kelsey and Mesha are friends, and they've been friends for years. Yeah. And so we're going to relate it to our lesson. How has their friendship helped them in their growth? So Mesha, tell us how you became a part of our ministry.
Yes, so it all started with so Mom actually just started work with Dulu, which is a pastor and bishop's company. So she just started, and then they asked her, "Would you like to come to church one Sunday?" And then so Mom came back home, and they invited us to invited me and Marty to church, and then so us growing up, that was our first time being in a black church. Right, right, because right. So even us being African American, us that was our first time being in a full African American black church, right? So it was such an experience for us. So
your mom is
Hawaiian, Filipino, Chinese, Spanish. Yeah. So a whole mixed plate is what we call it in Hawaii, right? Mixed plate. So so Mom invited us to church, and the first time we walked into PRC, it was such a fresh breath air, We walked in there. It's something we never experienced before. The music, the word that got us. So then I remember the first time I met Kelsey was when Pastor actually brought me up to the media room, which we had a lot of fun in there.
Pastor has a lot to do with these relationships.
So she asked me, "Would you like to meet my son?" I was like, "Oh, of course, yeah." I didn't know he was the same age as me, right? And so I walk up to the media room. We used to be all the way on the top of the sanctuary. Yes. So I walk up there, and he's actually with Denise, which used to be our other our media leader. So we walked up there, and all I see is Kelsey on top of the director board with his glasses, his little boy glasses on top of the media board. And then I say, "What's up, man? My name's Mesha." And I found out we're the same age, same grade. And then we just hit off.
So how old were you? You were.
I believe we were about 12. 12 years old.
So you were preteen.
Preteen. I think we were in middle school.
Yes.
And I think he was still going to Marinol.
Okay.
Yeah. Mid-pack. So that was the first time I ever met Kelsey, and then after that we kind of hit it off.
Okay. So what did you all have in common?
Oh, well. Yeah.
Okay, Kelsey. So share your side of the story.
Well, I don't remember in quite as much detail, but I know when we first met, it was with working in the media ministry, and I just remember he was always on the cameras, or I was directing, or I'd be on cameras and he was directing. And I mean, just from there, even that group itself was really well knit, and we just had a lot of fun. It was me, him, I think Marcus, and Leroy. I remember Leroy was always on camera. We were actually just talking about that. We, reminiscing on media, and we got really close in that group because just working on the cameras, you got to communicate and everything, and us all being the same age, kind of having the same interests and stuff. hanging out even during media. And then after church, we'd always go back into a bishop's office and watch TV, watch football.
A little private office.
Yeah, watch football and eat hospitality. You go grab your food and come back to the back and watch football on Sundays. So that was really kind of how I got kicked off, and we've just been friends ever since.
And also,
Yes.
the bishop's office was also a little escape area from all the little kids, because all the little kids wanted to know where we were. It was like, okay, we're gonna go in the office, because we had such a great a children's ministry, so we had always the kids always by us, so we always went in there to escape. It's like, okay, we have some time out a little bit.
And so you have good memories. Both of you are laughing. So obviously they were good memories and you bonded. So when we talked about join a group at church where you're interested, the media, the sound. Mesha, do you still work media?
To this day, yeah, I do.
You can't get away from it. And now you're raising up other young men. So now, how did you all build each other up by being friends?
Well, I think being in the same age group actually did a lot for us. Going through high school and middle school is such a big transition for just life, as a woman or man. So I think just being the same age and experiencing the same situations that we all had to go through, I think that really helped us bond so super close together. And also having that spiritual aspect of being bonded together. We see each other every Sunday. Sometimes even Saturdays, right? Or even Wednesdays and Bible studies 3 times a week. So we just having that connection with each other and being the same age and going through the same situations, I think that kind of bonded us together.
And then I think even sometimes you've gone to Buffalo Wild Wings after work.
Oh,
Let's talk
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
well, spoiler alert, we also work together.
Right.
I never see this guy. Yeah. So I mean, even that was another bonding experience in itself. Was we were so both of us wanted back in what was it, junior year, going into sophomore year. It was like that transition between sophomore and junior year. Trampoline was fairly new, and we wanted to work. We each wanted to have a job and stuff. So we ended up working at iTrampoline together. We were both the first park assistant, janitors.
Okay,
We were the
explain
first
what a park
janitor.
assistant is.
We were the first janitors. So you'd see
Student
us.
janitors.
Yeah, you'd see us out there mopping the entire court. It would be us two. We'd tag team it where, we separate it. So he gets this half, I get this half. We just walk back and forth. Restroom, trash, walking around. I mean, having fun. I mean, it was just in that. I mean, it was work, but it was still fun at the same time, because we even to this day we still do that, where a lot of the tasks we just do them together. And I mean, yesterday, 24 hours ago, we, still doing the same thing. We sit down and paint together. We sit down and, clean up, build trampolines. I mean, just overall, a lot of time was spent together, and that just helped build a bond and a long-term relationship that, when I would go off to school, or like even when he went to Orlando, when we come back, we'd still, find a way back to hang out with each other.
Mm-hmm. So you went to Australia, and did you keep in touch with each other, or?
Not so much when we were away. It's always in the coming back that we would hang out. So we both always worked at trampoline, so we'd always see each other on that end, and then at church too. But even just in that, the same experiences, I went away and then he went away to Orlando. It was kind of similar sort of, like I said, experiences where we're away from home, and then you come back and then you share the stories, share things, and share experiences. And it's pretty much the same thing, I was, living by myself too. And so it was kind of all the same thing. Even when I would go away to college, I go, have fun, be at school and everything in Oregon, and then I'd come back and share stories. We go out to Buffalo Wild Wings and all that kind of stuff. So,
and so Mesha, you went to Orlando for an internship, is that right?
Yes, for Disney.
For Disney,
Yes.
Yes. And so how was that experience?
So for me, born and raised, just like Kelsey in Hawaii, like getting away from the island is such a, it's kind of a big deal, right? Because you're leaving your family, you're leaving everything that you know, right? So just going away, yeah, it's a big deal, right? I think Kelsey's is bigger. He went down under, but yeah. So I did the internship for about almost a year. It was a great experience to kind of share what people of Hawaii, what the values that we share, and then also the experience that we share. I actually had people go there and ask me, "Do we live in grass huts?" I was like, no, we do not live in grass huts. I have a nice room, I have AC, So it was a great experience. It's a little eye opener for me and how people kind of value things in life, and also saw us as people from Hawaii. So it was a great experience.
And so how did you, in terms of friendships, when you both went away without mom and without dad, and so now you're developing relationships, did any of your upbringing help you in selecting relationships and friendships? So I'll ask Kelsey and then.
Yeah, well, for me, I've always been very selective of my friend group. I don't have a whole lot. I mean, I have a lot of acquaintances, I always say, but I have very few friends and best friends and really close people. And I think that's part of the upbringing, is, growing up in the church and then also growing up in the way that I did, being focused on, the things in life that you should be focused on at the time, school, athletics and all that kind of stuff. That helped me to remain focused and then also find friends who are in that same, of the same mindset. So for like me, I always seem to hang around older people. Older groups of people. Like my freshman year, I hung out with juniors and seniors on the basketball team, and then I had my best friends, around me with me. But like I said, they've always been of the same mindset. It's always been the growth mindset. It's never the let's go out and do crazy things and get in trouble or waste time. It's always let's do something competitive. Let's do something fun. Let's do something that advances us as friends. Like my best friend Will, we were friends in high school and then we went to college together. I think that's a relationship that's very reflective of how I was raised. Me and him, like I said, we did everything together, and we kept pushing each other, ambitious. When when it was time for graduation, it wasn't, oh well, I guess I'll just go home. We both wanted to go and explore, do things, move away, and stay and find our careers. And we kind of pushed each other in that sense. And so that's kind of the relationships that I've always grew up in. Is my parents, they pushed me to do things. Always be striving, always be ambitious to do more. Your best, your good is not good enough, kind of mindset. It's the perfectionist, it's got to be excellent, and as they say, shoot for the stars and land on the moon. But as long as you're shooting for the stars, you're always at least you'll get to somewhere that's further than where you intended to be. Like I said, shoot for the stars. Even if you land on the moon, you made it to outer space. And so I always like to, that is, like I said, a big reflection of how I was raised, is that, my parents always raised me to continue to be ambitious, continue to strive to do great and do more, and, go above and beyond myself. So.
And you've always liked being around older people too.
Yes.
Adults.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hanging out with my dad, I always hung out with him and his friends. I know there's a famous family story of when I think I had a birthday party.
Yes, you did.
And they asked me to, put a list together of who I wanted to invite to the birthday party. And when they got the list of people that I wrote down, my dad was like, "These are all my friends."
They were mostly adults.
Yeah, they were mostly adults. So I think that's, just reflective of how, as I continue to age and stuff, like I always kind of find that group of people.
And they gave you good gifts too.
That might be the other side of it, is that they gave me the fun gift.
Yes, but you tended to like Dad's friends. Yeah. So Mesha, for you, and Kelsey and I both wave our hands. Mesha, your dad passed away when you were a senior in high school. So how did your relationships with those in church and the upbringing that you had help you through that?
So first I want to start with the church. I honestly believe, without, the church and the family that we had around us for PRC, I think it would have been such a harder time, right? For us that don't know, before we even came to PRC, we actually were kind of in crossroads of, like a Buddhist church, and but we still kind of prayed for God for special events and Thanksgiving and everything. But we're just kind of in a crossroads of, what kind of religion are we going to be in, right? So once we went to PRC, we kind of found our calling, and kind of found what we wanted to pursue in spiritually, right? So when my dad passed away when I was a senior, it was a challenging time because he taught me the values, and my mom and dad taught me valuable values that we have in life, to be respectful. So my dad meant a lot to me, in that aspect of being a man, right? And teaching me, just the basic how to treat women, and what you do as a man and what is your role, right? So having a family, like having Bishop, he's a big father figure in my life. He's the kind of guy that, I go to for word, spiritually and for business wise. He's really been there for me, through the years that I've been part of PRC. So, yeah, exactly. So he encourages you. Exactly. He encourages me.
Say Mesha.
Exactly. And I can say that goes with you too. So
we love you.
Yeah, we love you. So like I say this to everybody, the same way that they push, Kelsey and Ariane, they push me too, and everybody else in the church. They want to strive for greatness, and then strive for perfection, and then you have to be on it. So that's the things that I was taught through PRC and just growing up as a kid. But I did want to bring up, Kelsey brought a good idea about being raised around older people. Yeah. Right, so in my family, it's the same thing. I was raised around older people, right? I didn't really have cousins my same age because most of my cousins were kind of older than me or a little younger than me, right? So I was really growing up around older people and kind of getting those experiences and knowledge that I get from older people. I get the same feeling from I get from PRC, right? So when I came to PRC, I took up all the knowledge from older people, and I felt just at home, right? I just felt just at home. So I'll say thank you guys. Yeah.
Amen. And so now that you're both older and in your 20s now, have you become role models for other people?
I guess yes. I mean,
Yes, you are.
yes. That answer is yes. Whether you want to be or not. Not that I don't want to be a role model, but you kind of grow up, and as you grow up, people start to look up to you. And so the main thing for me is I always say practice, never preach. So if I'm showing, all the good values and, the things that other people want to aspire to be, then, I have nothing to worry about. I don't have to, worry about talking to, everybody and explaining myself. My actions, I like to say my actions speak for themselves. I just let my let my actions flow, let people see what I do, because I can talk a big game and say all this stuff, but at the end of the day, did you do it? What did you do? And that's the kind of stuff that I think people should look for in others, is look for actions. And so I think that as I've grown older, I've noticed people do look up to you, they do watch you, they do notice the little things that you do, and they pick up on everything that you do. And so the biggest thing is to remain solid and again show that light, and show how a godly person is supposed to live. All those things that I guess it kind of got passed down. Me hanging out around older people, whether they knew it or not, I was watching them. And so now I have to in turn, understand that the same is happening to me. Is there's kids that even if they're not hanging around me, they're still watching what I do, watching what I say, and how I move and behave.
And you're Uncle Kelsey now.
Yes.
So Kelsey, and they jump on you. Kelsey. What about you, Mesha?
No, I think the position that me and Kelsey are in right now, like business wise and spiritual, I think we have to do action before words, right? Because like in our business, we have a lot of younger kids, coming out of high school or still in high school, and then they kind of look up to us as like a leadership role. So implying that rule of action speaks louder than words, I think that's really important for what we are right now. Because if you think about it, we are the first job for some of these kids, and so that we're trying to lead by example and what we expect and what the world expects out of someone that's in the position of working. Right, so
you oversee with the trampoline park.
Correct.
You oversee several
students,
young
right?
people. You
Right.
lead them and
Right.
give direction. And we were so pleased. It just really warmed my heart to see you both working so hard, getting the park looking nice and organizing things, but doing it as friends. One was painting one side, and one was painting the other side. So, how do you keep that friendship going? Is there anything in particular, or you just have a lot in common?
I think one of the biggest things, I guess, for us that we sort of exhibit is maturity. We work together, but we are able to work together in a professional manner. Sometimes people, sometimes you hire friends and it works out. Sometimes you hire friends and it goes completely opposite. It's like, okay, I should never put them together. But I feel like our relationship, we're able to, differentiate, work and, play, and merge the two so that we have fun as we do things. And so I think our maturity comes into play in that aspect, is we're able to, like I said, differentiate and, take each other's ideas and advice and kind of play off of each other. And then when we get scolded, we usually get scolded together and take that and go in stride. And like I said, it's a lot of the maturity side of it. We're able to kind of be adults about things rather than just play around. Like I said, we work together. We work with older people, and then we work with younger people. And with the younger people, they don't always understand. Even to older people too, they don't understand. You gotta focus. You gotta put the fun part aside of it. Just because we're working together doesn't mean it can be all fun and games. And so you gotta hone in and understand how to put that friendship aside, and not put it aside totally to where you're at each other's necks, but put it aside to where it's beneficial, and like I said, work as a cohesive unit.
So Kelsey is our ops manager, and they were working together. They weren't just painting. And Mesha is our team lead, and of course they're both supervising in different aspects, but you're both also working with creating organization structure, computers, and all that. So you both have developed your business-like personality. Now, Mesha, whereas Kelsey went away to school and got his degree, you're working on your degree, and I'm so proud of you. We're proud of you continuing, but you're also working 2 jobs and going to school at the same time. Talk about that and how you manage working for the trampoline park for a few hours and then Aulani.
So I do have 2 jobs, one being our trampoline and also the other being Aulani, and then also going to school full time. So honestly, it takes a lot of prayer every night, to get through the week. But just kind of being organized and doing what you need to be done. To kind of having like a to-do list, right? To get it complete. So just being organized and a lot of prayer takes a lot for each week. But I have to say, being part of iTrampoline, they are kind of helping me out, being more lenient on my schedule and kind of being more flexible. So I would say prayer. That's it.
All right. So now, one of the things I did share as we get ready to wrap it up is encouraging parents to have their kids in church and to develop friends in church. Can you share from your perspective what the benefit is to a parent, a mom or a dad, to bring their child to church and have them participate?
I would say, first off, long life friends, right? Long life friends. Just having somebody there that is on the same level as you, spiritually, that finds comfort in me. Like I can go to Kelsey, and I can kind of feel, I'm not feeling good this day. I don't know what's wrong, or and then he can be completely honest with me. you know. So just having that friendship bond that, you know, if someone's in the same level as you, you know, having the same kind of feelings, and they can understand you. That's what I think can catch out of it. And also just having a great family around you, having a good support system, you know, having a foundation. I feel like PRC provided me with a great foundation, you know, what to be, you know, what I want to do, and just keep striving. I think that's what you benefit out of it.
And so when you went away,
Right.
you still had that foundation.
Still had that
to keep you on the
foundation.
right track.
And I had a funny story. So when before I went to the internship, we could pick roommates, right? But I decided to go random roommates, right? So half of the trip, I was so nervous because I didn't know who my roommates were going to be. And I didn't know, you know, maybe atheists or, you know, but it turned out, you know, I prayed over it so much because I was so worried, you know, because you're going to be spending the next 6 months with these guys. So I was praying so much, and then it ended up being such a great experience, you know, 5 of them being Catholic, right? But then I was able to, they're super curious about what Pentecostal is and how we do church and everything. So I was able to show them some live shows on Sundays, and then get them kind of say. So one guy asked, "Why do you guys sing that loud? You guys actually sing?" That's like, yeah, this is normal. This is, you know, this is. So they were so curious, and they were actually wowed by what we put on every Sunday, right? So it was a great experience, kind of spreading that word of God,
Right.
and also having them experience what, you know, what different the different aspects of God that affects people. So yeah.
Okay. So now you went to Australia, Kelsey, and then of course at Pacific University you did find a church there. So share a little bit about that.
Okay. So going to Pacific and, you know, going to church in Oregon, as well as, you know, I visited the churches in Australia. You know, like Mesha said, it's, you know, you get to meet different people and see different types of churches. I definitely remember the church in Oregon the most, West Side Church in Beaverton. That one will always be on my, you know, it'll be in my memory. I went to that church for 2 years. And, you know, I could tell, I always take, what I took away and what I always remember about it is that, you know, you can tell the difference between, you know, big churches and small churches and sort of the value that you can get. And that definitely showed me why people like our church. Our church, a small church, you know, you'd think, oh, well, you want to be a huge church, you know, like the one, Joel Osteen's and all, you know, Bishop Brady's churches. And, you know, those are beautiful churches. But I think all churches serve a different purpose, and every church has to identify that role in the community. You know, church, I guess the original church back in Paul's day, they were doing it out of houses. And so, you know, that's kind of how I see our churches, you know, the small church that you can kind of get to know everyone. I always, you know, I shared with my parents a lot is that, you know, the church at Westside, it was so big that you feel like a number, and you're kind of in and out. You know, you go get your little work, you know, you get what you need out of it. You know, you get your communion, you get your praise and worship, you get your message, and then you're gone. You know, you don't really talk to anybody else. You know, they have their little 5-minute session where you get to meet people. But, you know, it's more just a, hey, how you doing? You know, good to see you on a Sunday. And, but like with our church, you know, you remember faces, you remember names, and you remember people. And I think that, at least for me, that was a big thing is, you know, I didn't mind the church in Oregon. It did what it needed to. I was there for a purpose, very purpose driven. And, you know, I didn't need all that out of the church where I was at. I was there to go to school. But when, you know, for a church that you want to settle down in, I always like the substance of our church. It's small. You get to know people. You get to meet everybody. And, you know, you really develop a family. You know, I can't really tell you how I know everybody in the church and how long we've been friends, even with Mesha. You know, he remembers how we met. I don't even remember how I met half the people in the church. I just know I've known him for my whole life. You know, pretty much everybody in the church, you know, the Don Sims and his family. I mean, I could go on I could list everyone in the church and say, you know, everyone is a part of the family. And, you know, it's a really big deal for me is, you know, I always can come back to the church, and I've hung out with virtually everybody outside of the church at some point. And so I like that kind of aspect to church, that you get to really become a tight-knit family, and everyone becomes, you know, bigger to you than you think. because it'll show in different things that come up in life. Like, I've gone through, different struggles in my athletic career, being injured, and then also, hitting the highs of winning awards and stuff, and then graduating and seeing all those people come out, and it's like the same faces that always show up. And you don't get that out of a big church. I mean, you can, but it's a different aspect. And like I said, seeing those same faces at all those events, and then seeing them on Sunday and seeing all that support, it's definitely a foundation, people you can fall back on, and people that you want to make proud of you. When you go out and do things, like when I was in Oregon and in Australia, you kind of have that chip on your shoulder, like, I'm doing this for PRC, and knowing that they're always supporting you in everything you do. So, yeah.
That's awesome, because when you won your state championship, when the Kaiser boys won the state championship for D1, and you made that great shot. We were all there putting lays on you. And one of the things we do is we tried to go out in a crowd and make people know that we were there.
I think all the youth in the church probably have a story, especially the athletes all have a story. Or even just at your graduation, PRC stood out. I remember, I think it was my senior night, everybody came out, and everybody was like, was it Coach Brandon or somebody said, can we invite them out again, because they were cheering. They cheer loud.
Yes.
Like, they come in and they they show out and support. So
amen. So we're family. Are we family? Amen. Right down the street.
It doesn't matter how we get to know, how I know you. I mean, it's like I've known everyone for forever.
Exactly. And then when people come and go, they'll come and they'll leave, but we still remember them, and they'll send their family, and we remain friends for years. So I appreciate you sharing about our church, because it's one thing for pastor and bishop to say, come to PRC, the place to be, but if our young people feel like, okay, this is our family, and I remember Kelsey saying, yes, I go to church, and he would call me on his way back to the campus, and he had a certain time that he would go. He would even take the bus. I remember the first year we went to a smaller church, and that pastor was very friendly, but he ended up leaving. That was a nice, small little church.
I actually left because that pastor wasn't there anymore.
Right.
He moved on to a bigger role. He actually became the chaplain of a hospital.
Oh, really?
And I remember he knew I played basketball and stuff, and so he came to one of my games. And then he had coffee with me actually twice. We sat down and had coffee once just to catch up, and another time right before finals and stuff, right before I was about to come home, and just checking in on me and stuff. And, that's, again, the benefits of those small churches, that means a whole lot. You remember things like that. I know, like I said, or like you guys have probably talked about in many stories and stuff, is a lot of people consider bishop and pastor to be like their parents, and I understand what that meant, being outside and having another pastor do that kind of stuff for me, and so it makes a big difference.
So if you plan to send your child to Hawaii, University of Hawaii, let's give a shout out for University of Hawaii, Chaminade, Hawaii Pacific University. Send them over to PRC, and we will keep in touch. We do go to games, Bishop and I, and we do cheer, and we make ourselves known in a very positive way. So what I'd like us to do now, and thank you all for joining us here on Facebook, and we will have it on YouTube, but again, thank you. We encourage you to share it with others, and tell other people about Pacific Revival Center if they're coming to the island. We always try to make people feel special, as Paul told the Thessalonian church. I was happy. You didn't embarrass me. You made me proud because of your love that you showed. So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask Mesha to share a few words to our young people and to our parents in terms of getting them involved in the church, as well as getting them to venture out into what God has for them. So Mesha, and then Kelsey.
I want to say anytime you start young in a church, in any ministry, media or music, singing, I think it's a great building block for building yourself as a model, and kind of building things that you want to do in the future, So For me personally, I enjoyed my time as a youth in PRC with media, and I learned so much. Just taking in all the knowledge and learning so much in a field I had never done media before, right? So just learning those things, and the people that you meet is what's really crucial. Just meeting different people from different walks of life, and then taking those experiences and knowledge with you. When you get older, I can say for myself, things that I learned from people I kind of use in my older life now. Now that I understand what they mean, and like a lot of things that Pastor and Bishop told me when I was younger, I kind of understand. I was like, okay, yeah, that's what's gonna happen, So I can understand. So just embracing yourself and kind of putting yourself into church, is such a awesome, just an awesome thing to do. Just to get yourself in there and then with the people. That's why I feel it's important. Yeah.
For me, I'd say, I guess to, future youth and even parents, I would say for the parents, definitely encourage your kids to be involved in what they love. Even if it's not what you wanted them to do and with their life or anything like that, encourage them to be in love with what they love. Be in love with what they love. That encouragement goes a long way because, supporting their interests, you never know what somebody can become great at. If you encourage them to, strive out, that's how, kids will meet their friends, my parents encouraged me to, pursue the sports, and then also they put me into the media and usher and everything. I think we were ushers together, probably we were everything. And like as case in point, me and Mesha have become lifelong friends because they've encouraged me to continue to strive for what I love to do, and pushed me to love what I love to do. Don't just do it, love it, and find a love, find a passion for everything. And I guess for youth, as I said before, I'll kind of harp on my saying of, shoot for the moon or shoot for the stars, land on the moon. What I mean by that is, strive for great things because even if you don't achieve the ultimate greatness, which is getting to the stars, even if you land on the moon, you never know who you have inspired in your, pursuit. I'm a history buff, so, I can always relate this to I'll relate this to like, past people that we, idolize, guys like, like, for example, Caesar. Julius Caesar is a perfect example. When you actually look at what he did in his life, it's like, oh, you didn't really do a whole lot, for somebody that now his name, is reflected in almost everything. But what he strove for ended up inspiring the life of someone else. So you never know what, you landing on the moon and not getting to what you were ultimately striving for could be just the starting blocks for somebody else. So now somebody else picks up what you landed on the moon. Okay, I'll do what he did to get to the moon, and then they get to the stars. So you never know. I guess overall I'm saying you never know who you're inspiring. And, even if you don't reach, again, your ultimate goal, you never know whose path what door you open for someone else, what other person you inspired, even if it's not in the same, realm, but you inspired them through your own drive, your own pursuit. You inspired them to pick up that same pursuit and pick up that same habit and pick up that same drive to move forward. And then, like I said, you never know who you've inspired to become greater. And, you may get a call and, there's some people that I owe a call, Dr. Priester and all those, a lot of people I probably owe phone calls to just say, hey, thank you for, being the best you. And even though you may not have gotten to where you wanted to be, I'm better. I got to a better place, and you may say, oh, well, you did better in life than me. Well, I only did that because I saw how you approach life, and I took that same approach, and I got, better. And that's the only way we can get better as humans. It's the only way we can get better as Christians. And that's, the only way we can get better in the walk of God is, and in pursuit of pursuing what fulfilling God's mandate for us is, picking up after one another and striving to be better than the next person, in a good way. Striving to pick up and, again, in turn, being that inspiration to somebody else, and, again, passing the baton.
Awesome. Yes.
I was going to say, just don't be discouraged when things don't go your way. I feel me and Kelsey have been through different situations where, we have to learn some things. And then I like the thing that the pastor tells us to always don't be discouraged. Just keep moving forward. You may make a mistake here or there. It might be big, might be small. But in my life personally, and I think Kelsey knows too, you just have to learn from those experiences and then take what you know that you made a mistake on and make it into what you can put towards your future. So just don't be discouraged. And also, I would say just be example for whatever you do, right? Just like Kelsey said, you just know who you're going to inspire, right? So whatever you do, just make it in good light and be it in good example of whatever you do, because you never know who's watching. So I just want to say that for the youth. So.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I thought we had a great time. We enjoyed this time and this time of sharing. And again, we want to encourage you as parents to continue to believe in your children and your child, son, daughter, no matter what age they are. You're not alone, striving and praying for them to see the manifestation of what God has for them, whether they 15, 16, or 30 or 40. God is with you. Be encouraged and build a relationship this week. Call somebody, as Kelsey mentioned. Dr. Priester was his principal that encouraged him. Let's call somebody and build a relationship. And remember what the Proverbs said: as you refresh others, you yourself will be refreshed. Amen. God bless you. Aloha. Have a great weekend in the Lord, and we hope to see you at church real soon. God bless you.